Greg Wolf, we've got Lauren Mealy, and we've got Frank Loman. We expect Joe Casella to come on board in a little bit. You'll notice I've changed my background, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't have my flag hanging up in the back behind me. I've got a background flag. So let us say our
Very
pledge
nice.
of allegiance.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
The United States of America and to the republic
for which
for which
it
it stands,
one nation,
one nation, under God,
indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. Thank you all. Moving on, we have a quorum. We got the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody should have received copies of our February 10th meeting minutes. I would like to entertain a motion to waive the reading of those minutes sent along by Tracy. So moved, somebody?
I move.
Okay, Greg, Lauren, you're gonna
Second.
second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Jim.
Now we need to approve those minutes,
Hey
so
there.
are there any other? Hey, Jim,
Hey, Frank.
are there changes to those minutes? I'll entertain a motion to approve them. So we have, I'll make that motion to approve them. Do we hear a
Second.
second by Lauren? Are there any changes to those minutes? Off the record, Tracy did spell my name right. All in favor of approving the minutes of February? Aye. Correspondence and public communications, we had one. Officer Phil Giampietro got a wonderful, I mean, that was amazing. Thank you from a woman.
Joe Giampietro.
I'm sorry?
Joe Giampietro.
Oh, Joe, not Phil. I'm sorry.
Phil's the realtor, I think.
Is his uncle. Yeah, from Joe Giampietro, who actually got a thank you note 8 years after having been an officer that we're very proud of. So I would like the record to show that the Public Safety Commission also expresses their thank you to Officer Joe Giampietro. Can we do that, Trace, please?
Yes, sir.
Any other correspondence, LT?
No, sir.
All good? Moving along, Sightline Survey. All of that noticed during driving around Cheshire. Sight lines right now are the best they've ever been because there are no leaves on the trees. So, anybody have any complaints about sight lines? No, none. Hearing none. Jim? No? Nobody?
No, nobody's brought anything to my attention.
Safety sign update. You were just talking about that, Don.
We're gonna get the signs changed out by next week.
Okay.
For all the areas. Probably change to more spring themed and get done with winter, hopefully.
I am going to talk to Connecticut Signcraft of Connecticut about possibly fixing or redoing or repainting the sign on Route 70. And I can probably get outside sources to pay for that repainting if they in fact charge me. But I'd like to get that thing cleaned up. Other than that, the signs look great. And the signs are appropriately out there. Sidewalk update. I see that we finally have, well, snow is melted, but we finally have some shoveling of sidewalks. And I must compliment you, Donald, and your patrol division and the Cheshire Police Department on going to people and telling them, shovel your sidewalks, people. So I'm thinking, is my thought, and I want your other opinions from the commission. It seems to be the same offenders. Donald, am I correct?
A lot of them are repeat, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we're not going to have another snowstorm. Spring is here. But, next year, I would hope that we enforce our ordinance. If they go, because the place where, what do you call it, Starbucks is going, that was 2 weeks before Don got them off their tookies to shovel. And that shouldn't be. They should be fined for that. I just think that we have an ordinance, a well-written ordinance that should be enforced. Comments? Hello?
Sure, I mean, I think that makes sense.
Laura?
Yeah, I mean, for repeat offenders especially, I mean, a chance or two is appropriate, I think, but after that, I mean,
Is it commercial offenders you're talking about?
Yes, most of them are long, well, we've got some serious long-term offenders. There are some sidewalk offenders in the residential areas, but most of them are along, you were in our meeting last week, unfortunately, Jim, or last month, but unfortunately, a lot of the Route 10 businesses do not shovel. Okay. The new space for Starbucks. My wife walks the dog to the left of our condo in the afternoon. And after that snowstorm, which I will call a blizzard, but it really wasn't, okay, it was a week before she could even walk down to Rite Aid because the sidewalks on that commercial side of Route 10 were not shoveled. I called Don. I said, Donnie, take a look at the sidewalks south of Jenny Hill. And none of them were shoveled. None of them.
and this year it might not have been such an issue, but more importantly, in the residential areas for kids, if they're trying, to get to the bus stops or whatever, definitely needs to be done.
Couldn't be more, Laura. So I hope we continue to enforce the ordinance, and hopefully we're done with the snow for this year. But if we're not, I hope, Donnie, that we do enforce the ordinance. Okay.
Yeah, and I've actually made myself a goal for, I'm putting my calendar for like October into November of next fall of trying to get a good list of property owners or maintainers for those problem areas. And maybe even speak to them beforehand, before the snow ever hits, and just preempt the whole thing so that hopefully it's not an issue.
Excellent.
I'm sure there will be problem areas.
You might want to talk to Jerry Sitko, the Economic Development Coordinator. I know he has relationships with all those property owners. He might be able to at least help with the contact info if we need that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Sure.
Jim.
Yep.
Radar speed monitoring, Lieutenant, what do you think?
Still in, our thought is when we're sure the snow's done, we'll probably get them out. So I'm hoping for April-ish.
I hope it's long before that. But that's okay.
We're under 2 feet of snow in April, no problems.
Any other items in our unfinished business, people? Hearing none, let's move on to our treasurer's report, which is simple. We don't have any money left. I just told Lieutenant Miller that if we can get this commission more active, I would like to reach out to the budget committee of the town to increase our budget from $500 to something more than $500, so that we can do different and better things. So it's too late because this budget season just passed, Jim, correct?
We're about to start the review. The town manager has already formulated his budget, but for a relatively small amount, he may be able to make some adjustments, I would say. But you might want to start with the town manager and ask him what you're thinking.
Yeah, Don and I were talking that maybe November of next year we start approaching the town to increase public safety. But we've got to have some viable projects, and we're going to talk about one here in a minute. Okay, review of police and fire department monthly reports. Again, as typical, I will lead off with some comments. I thank the chief of police. I got to get to my page here for his report. I find it interesting. We have another 48 pistol permit requests. Unbelievable. 9.5 million guns sold in the United States last year. That's scary. Motor vehicle thefts, 2 versus 2 last year. I am curious as to why people do not understand that if you leave your vehicle unlocked, running in front of a local food business, you shouldn't have your car stolen. All right. 2 of the vehicles that were stolen, all 2 of them, had keys in them. I don't know what we can do as a commission to tell people you're being foolish. Your cars are going to get stolen. I don't care whether you're at a convenience store in Cheshire, parking in your driveway, your car is going to get stolen. So I would like our commission to think about, other than the signs we tried, how do we convince our public to be smart? How do we convince them to be smart? Maybe we can't. maybe, Greg, you're smiling. You know, I just don't know how to do it. You know, again, I think one of the ways that we could could approach this is to ask the insurance companies not to allow coverage in a stolen vehicle for cars that have the keys left in them. What do you think the odds of having the legislature pass that, Jim? Hey, Joe, welcome aboard, pal.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. So what do you think, Jim? Do you think we can convince the state legislature to pass something that says that the insurance companies in the state of Connecticut or whatever aren't going to cover stolen vehicles? If
I
the,
don't know. I don't know.
if the
I don't
keys,
know I don't know about the legislation. I don't know if the insurance companies would want to have that kind of stipulation in their policy, but
yeah, well, I'll tell you what,
um,
there again, that's foolishness. And I checked into it, and all the insurance companies that insure cars in Connecticut have this clause that says if the keys are left in it and this car is stolen, they'll cover it. Well, I'll tell you what, when my car gets to be 10 years old, I'm going to park it in front of the convenience store down in the center of Cheshire and leave the keys in it.
You might just get less truthful complaints from victims in the long run.
Say again, Don?
You might just get less truthful complaints from the victims in the long run. If that's the case.
yeah.
I do have this question out of curiosity. I noticed that stolen from motor vehicles are wallets and contents, which is understandable. How the heck do thieves get time to steal a catalytic converter? It's part of the muffler system. They lay it
right now.
they lay it on their backside with a torch and go, you know,
Pretty
how do they
much.
do it? They must.
They use a sawzall. They use a sawzall. Just chop it off at both
Trace, they've
ends.
got to have more than a minute and a half. They got to have 10 minutes to do it.
It's nighttime and dark and parking lots full of vehicles. Zoom, zoom.
Does everybody on the commission understand the importance of a catalytic converter? Not in terms of its car, but in terms of its resale value?
Lots of metal in that.
There's some
Gold
very,
and platinum.
yeah, exactly, very expensive metals. So, you know, all of a sudden, catalytic converters are getting stolen like a dime a dozen. I don't know how we prevent that. How do you prevent that? If your car's outside and parked, it's a suspect. You know, who knows? Anyway, and then to have an unlocked car running in front of a local food business. We'll have to talk about what kind of signs we want to put out next year. One of the signs I do want to put out, and I know that Greg is going to address some of this, is that from what Lieutenant and I have been talking about, is one of the areas along the trail that is most vulnerable to having your car broken into or stolen are the parking lots. And we didn't put but one sign out of 50 in a trail parking lot last fall. Maybe our campaign this year should be more addressed towards parking lots along the trail, where people come in, they throw their sneakers on or their walking shoes or their running shoes, and they leave their purse, they leave their everything in the car, and they walk off.
Most of those parking areas, there's bulletin boards. So you could put up a sign on those bulletin boards for free. Rather than, I know that you guys used those stick-in signs last year, but there's lots of places along those parking lots to put signs that necessarily don't need to be like a political type sign.
Maybe we should take those signs that we've saved, 40 of them, and put them along the trail next spring. Don't be a victim, lock your car, take your keys, and remove your belongings. Just along the trail rather than throughout town, because that is the message we want to give to people walking and driving and bicycling on the trail.
It's a good start.
Yeah, it'd be a good start. We'll see if people listen. That's the key. Other comments on the police report? Other than the fact we had another 48 pistol permits. So,
Nothing wrong with that. At least they're legal.
say again?
Said nothing wrong with that. At least they're legal.
I've had mine for 35, 40 years. Okay, fire department report. All right, now I've got to make this comment. We've talked about false alarms. Chief Kasner has sent along to all of us copies of the ordinances. I don't know what caught my eye last month. I don't know why it caught my eye. It was 9 Pleasant Street. It reads, alarm system activation, no fire, unintentional. There were 2 of them in January, 4 in February. So I called Chief Kastner. I said to him, what's going on here? You know, I really have a problem understanding what is going on. This is 6 false alarms, 6 responses by the Cheshire Fire Department for 1 residence. Well, God bless her. Come to find out, he believes that the woman who lives in the residence is suffering from dementia and is constantly burning her food. So I said, Jack, how do we address this? How do we stop this? And he said, well, he was thinking about and probably has called Human Services, Cheshire Human Services, to ask for assistance from them to address the issue with this woman. I said, well, you know, you also have the situation at Hillside Village where they're like 10 a month. I'm going to maybe make the suggestion to this commission that we recommend to the town council that an alarm malfunction or an activation with no intention of 4 a month would result in a fine. You know, it's just, I am so concerned. I'm not so concerned about the loss of resources and the expansion of resources as I am about the risk of life with men and women responding to these false alarms. Now, it's only going to take once. I had an uncle, God bless him, who broke his back on an alarm in New Haven, right in the tail end of a hook and ladder, and he was never the same. You know, and but I just worry about responding to six false alarms in 1.5 month period for the same residence. To me, that's totally unacceptable. But by the same token, I understand that the woman has got problems. Thoughts, people?
Can they selectively send out, so they know they're responding to her address? Can they send out not the whole fire department? Like, is there a social service person that can go instead?
Greg, they do that. They do that. But that, there again, now you're into the use of resources, okay? As opposed, yeah, they used to send a fire truck and, 6 or 7 people. Now they send 2 or 3 people. But even then, going to a false alarm, God forbid, this house is at the corner of Maple Avenue and Route 10 on the other side, okay? And God forbid somebody should collide with going through the intersection of Maple Avenue and Route 10, collide with a car, for no reason. It's a tough situation. It really, really is. I'm kind of hoping that Chief Kastner can get Human Services to at least do something with this one situation. I mean, it's still like a sore thumb to me that there was 4 in the month of February. Jim, you want to say something?
No, I mean, it sounds like obviously it's a difficult situation with the woman. He's burning her food. I'm not sure what you can really do about that. I mean, obviously at some point her house could actually be on fire.
That's the problem.
But I think it's for the fire department and human services maybe to work out. I'm sure that if Chief Kastner has talked to human services, I'm sure they've probably been in touch with the woman or have been in touch with someone in her family. I'd imagine that they're handling it as best they can.
Your point's so very well taken. I told it to Jack. I said, it only going to take once that you send a guy or 2 guys to go check out a 4th a month, whatever, the 4th time that month, complaint and find out the house is really on fire.
Right.
That would be a disaster. Okay, I just thought I'd bring it up. We got to worry about false alarm and pistol permits. Okay, all of you should have received a copy of a proposal from the state of Connecticut entitled, very briefly, Rectangular Rapid Flashing Beacon Project at uncontrolled municipally road mid-block. Well, I called Sean and I asked him, I said, are we applying for this grant? He said, we are not eligible. Well, why not? Because we only have 2-lane roads and our speed limit is not greater than 40 miles an hour. And our traffic count is not greater than 1,500 per day. So I let it go for a couple of days and I called him back and he said, you know, Chief Dry, God bless him, called this engineer and told him our situation. And they decided that we should apply for it anyway. So we have applied for this rectangular rapid flashing beacon project at uncontrolled municipally road block mid-block. So a road mid-block. So hopefully, maybe we will see some minor solution to our trail crossings in Cheshire at the expense of the state rather than our own expense. That being said, I sent out to you also what Greg Wolf, thank you, Greg, has talked about, talking about safety in the town of Cheshire. Not just at the trail crossings, bicycle safety, pedestrian safety, sidewalk safety. And Greg, I'm going to turn it over to you because you said you're going to do a little homework. So the floor is yours, pal.
I mean, there's not much to it. I think it would be a good step for us as a group to initiate some sort of town-wide survey of where people feel they need improvement. Whether I come at it through a cyclist's eyes. So I would love to put it out to the town to find out where there are spots on the roads where they feel that need improvement. Places where they feel maybe sidewalks would be valid. Or they walk on the road and they feel that they're squeezed by cars. That's, like I said, that's just my inroad into that world. But putting it out to the town to find out where other people feel just need improvement. I think it would be a good start for us as a commission to go that route instead of trying to find something that we think is important. I'd like to know what the town thinks is important.
So let's start, pal. I'll tell you what. I actually talked, I think I mentioned this to Sean, and Lieutenant Miller knows about it. I told Sean Kimball, I got an email, and actually I got a phone call from a resident on the south end of the trail. The very south Brooksville, very south end of the trail. And said, gee, that was a great article you saw in the Cheshire Herald and the Record Journal. And we put in at my place at the south end of a blue pole, a place to call if there's a problem, because people used to run into his house and call for help. And I said, gee, that's a great idea, blah, blah, blah. But the more I thought about it, I mean, when you guys bicycle, Jim, when you and Greg bicycle, I don't know, Lauren, are you into it? I don't know. Whatever. Do you guys bring cell phones with you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Greg?
Yep.
So why the heck would you need a blue pole?
Because a lot of people don't carry cell phones with them all the time.
They really don't. Well, that's a very interesting point then, because part of the project, we may ask, with a blue pole along the trail. Donnie, how many miles of blue trail do we have?
The town's probably 8 miles from north to south, right? 7-8 miles.
So we have one blue pole down at the south end, and maybe we can put them at the intersections. After we get some money for this rectangular rapid flashing, whatever it is. Maybe we should put blue poles along the trail. Greg, I would have bet that everybody and their uncle carried a cell phone with them. My wife walks the dog on Route 10, and I keep saying to her, you got your cell phone with you? You got your cell phone? You never know what's going to happen.
I mean, I can't assume either direction. I don't know.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are certainly some people that probably go some that go without their cell phone. There may be also just be more people that will head out there and forget their phone in their car and then, be kind of a mile away and realize they don't have their phone. So that could happen.
I think it's also a deterrent if you see the blue pole. I think that's also,
Yeah.
no one's going to go, the police department won't be able to comment on this. I would think it would be a deterrent if no one's going to commit a crime next to a blue pole.
I would hope not.
I would think in the US at least.
You would
Not gonna
think.
speed past the cop.
Don, you and
I
I,
never say never, but
Okay.
Don, you and I talked about bicycle patrols and motorcycle patrols along the trail. And you pointed out to me that they're really not basically patrol, quote unquote, what's the right term? Patrol duties or whatever?
it's not a daily patrol function. It's guys who come in for a set number of hours a week or a month and put some time in on the trail or, the motorcycle goes out most days in the spring. We have an officer who rides almost every day. But the motorcycle's in the streets. He's just a unit.
Would it be appropriate for the safety commission? Again, I think we should start with Greg's poll or Greg's, what do you call it, survey. I think that based upon the articles I've read, that we should really follow up with trail safety. I think that one of the measures of trail safety would be looking at blue poles, increasing the police presence if they can do it without, tripling their budget in terms of bicycles, in terms of motorcycles.
I guess my it's not just the safety as in someone's going to rob you or someone's going to other physical harm. I think extending it to where roads that don't have good visibility, poor pavement for bicycles, poor sight lines. I know that you guys do this as part of the commission, but speeds, sections of the town where there's speeding that maybe the police don't know about as much. I think just throwing it out there to see what people in the town just generally have concerns about, whether it be, we as a group can come up with 30 questions to narrow it down. I'm just tossing that out.
I was thinking about this actually, because we've been talking about trail safety the last few meetings, and I know we said that like lighting the trail would be too much of an undertaking. So what if we just did surveillance at like the intersections? That would kind of kill like the crime, making people feel safer. Motorists would know that there's surveillance, so that would deter, speeding and things of that nature. So wouldn't surveillance just at the intersections maybe be an idea?
I think it would be a great idea. And I think I just found my subcommittee.
I'm sorry, you were just saying cameras at the intersections?
Mm-hmm.
I think right now cameras are actually,
Or at
traffic
least in the
cam-
parking lots?
I think traffic cameras are currently illegal in Connecticut, but Don might know that better. But parking lots could be a different, I don't know. I'm sure that we would run into, there's quite a few people that would be concerned about that kind of surveillance on our trails or in our parking lots. But I'm not saying it's something we shouldn't consider, but you definitely run into a lot of people being against that kind of thing.
Oh, criminals?
I think it's well worth looking into.
It is. It's not going to necessarily be a popular idea, though.
And I just think I found my subcommittee. Greg, Lauren, thank you very much.
Can we do it in the summertime?
You could do it in the spring, all right? I think it would be awesome if you guys put your heads together with the help of the commission to put together, as you said, Greg, maybe a 30 question, 35, whatever, keep it short because people won't answer it. And then we have to figure out, Jim, how do we disseminate a survey in Cheshire?
We can certainly do, we can do it on social media. We can also, we just recently did a survey for the School Modernization Committee where we accessed email lists through Chamber of Commerce, through various sports leagues. So we may be able to get them to disseminate a survey like this for us.
Well, I would hope we could be able to do that. So thank you, Greg. Thank you, Lauren.
There's also a bunch of neighborhood apps, the Ring community, the neighborhood app, the Patch. If you just get like a Google form link on those different platforms, almost everybody could probably access.
Right, that's a good point.
Well, if you guys would between now and March, whatever our date is, look into perhaps 30 questions that you could get out to the committee, our commission beforehand, so we could vote on sending a survey out regarding Cheshire public safety.
And I would ask everyone else on this group to, think about questions. I don't want to be the only person coming up with questions.
I agree.
Yeah, we can do it as a group.
That we can. But I'm going to ask you to please take the lead in doing it. Is that okay, Laura?
Sure.
Greg?
Yep.
I'm going to name you co-chairs. I love it. Yeah, I don't know. You look at what's happening in Hamden, my hometown where I grew up, and it scares the heck out of me. Carjackings, shootings, whatever. And they told LT, or I call him LT, I love him, Lieutenant Miller, I don't want to see this stuff spread to Cheshire. So anything we can do to sort of ward it off before it happens would be tremendously helpful. And I just don't want to see anything happen along the trail as we're going to regret, okay? And I also want to be prepared to join a Plainville, Farmington, or Plainville, Southington, and Cheshire consortium for trail safety and have our own agenda. I agree, Lauren. I think that lighting the trail, quote, in Cheshire is way too much and way too expensive, but perhaps you could light the intersections. Maybe we do what has been suggested in terms of crosswalk lighting, in terms of crosswalk signage. And again, we have more bicyclists now in Cheshire than we've ever had. The question is, how do we accommodate them? How do we accommodate them on the trail? Okay. I think that's a great idea for a project for our to discuss at our next meeting. Hopefully, I will point this out. Hopefully, since we missed our fall window, hopefully, when the thaw comes, you guys will be invited to a dedication of a new sign at the center of our fire department headquarters. Okay, which is on Maple Avenue. And I think that the signage that we're proposing that has been approved by the town council, thank you, Jim, that has been approved by the Development Commission and by the Beautification Commission will add a great deal to our fire headquarters on Maple Avenue. So I hope to have a dedication when the ground thaws. Anyway, any other business? Joe, welcome aboard, buddy.
I wanted to point out one thing, Frank. I just went on the Farmington Canal Trail website and it's listed as open year-round sunrise to sunset. So I'm not sure if lighting is something we go into or not. People probably use it, but
I don't. But people have been complaining too.
Yeah.
That the Parks and Recs Department does not plow all of the trail from beginning to end, and that needs to be addressed too. That's one of the complaints, is they only plow from apparently South Brooksville to
North.
So that needs to be addressed too. If we're going to open the trail, we should open it all the way. And again, Jim, that's probably a question of a function of budget cuts and budgetary issues. But if we're going to force people to plow their residential and commercial properties, we should at least plow all of the trail.
I was just asking the town manager about this last night at our council meeting. They do clear from Cornwall down to South Brooksville now. It used to be just to North Brooksville, but now it's South Brooksville. I think that started a year or two ago. I don't know. I know the reason why they don't clear the new section with the bridges is because they're concerned about the plows kind of dinging up the bridges. Those are pretty expensive, kind of concrete cast, whatever you want to call them, but they're concerned about that. I don't know why it isn't necessarily done north of West Main, but I think some people are, wanting the snow to stay there for cross-country skiing, for snowshoeing, for at least a little bit, stuff like that. And I'm sure there is obviously some some staffing, there's probably some staffing issues there as far as having someone take the time to do that. But yeah, I'd certainly be open to asking that they clear more of it when it needs to be done.
Well, again, I unfortunately, I'm not a trail user. Obviously, you, Greg, are. Lauren, apparently you understand what's going on the trail. I don't know, Joe, do you use the trail at all?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, I mean, any given day, especially now with the weather, tomorrow's supposed to be 70 degrees. You can bet your sweet penny going down Higgins Road or Cornwall Avenue or South Brooksville or anywhere in North Brooksville or go over the other end, Jarvis Street. You're going to see a lot of people on the trail, a lot of kids on bicycles, a lot of activity. And I think, Greg, your idea is a good one to see what the town thinks the safety ideas and safety issues are, not just along the trail, but in Cheshire. Potholes, sidewalks, walking, sight lines, whatever. We as a group of 6 can only see so many problems. And I hope you've learned that it's easy to call 272-051. Is that it? What is it? 5211, and ask Lieutenant Miller to get something fixed. The other day, I drove down Route West Main Street, and I noticed that the sign on the left-hand side going south or going west, the yield sign was broken. So I left a message for Lieutenant Miller saying, please ask Public Works to fix it. Okay. They did, but I find out now that's not our problem. That's the state's problem. So,
What was that number for Lieutenant Miller again? Should we tweet that out or what?
Say again?
911.
Yeah, Don got it done.
I would actually recommend if you need anything immediately, just call the main number, 5500.
Oh,
They can give you my voicemail if they need to.
You know what I left on your answer machine, huh? Any other business, ladies and gentlemen? Anything? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
Moved by Lauren. We don't need a
I'll
second.
second that.
Joe, you've seconded it. Thank you
Yep.
all very much. God bless you all and be safe. How many of you have had your second COVID shots?
I haven't had it first.
Yeah.
Who has had it first? Jinx?
I haven't had it first.
Yeah.
I have
I'm
both.
a youngish guy there, Mr. Lohman.
Stop it. So, Lauren,
I was
you
a
have-
little disappointed to hear that I was going to have to get my shot soon, actually.
well, I've had 2. You've had 2, Joe. You're a health worker.
Yeah.
Okay. God bless you all. Be careful. Be safe. Don't be foolish.